Hey, it's James, Fathers' Rights and Resources, hashtag how I got custody. So here's a question that an alienating parent can never answer. If I got him on the stand at trial, I did a YouTube video where I talked about questions I would ask an alienating parent at trial. This stuff keeps coming up. I can't remember if I mentioned this part in it. But, I would ask an alienator on the stand, or I would tell the court, Your Honor, if you ask the mother this right here and now, or the father, I got some women with some alienating fathers, some crazy alienating fathers, just work with somebody who is responding to emotion where a dad is trying to just alienate this mom forever. If I mentioned a few different places, I would ask a parent, do you think children need both parents? Do you think both parents are important? Do you think both parents are equally important? Okay, do you think that children should spend equal time with both parents? So, but to go deeper than that, let's say the alienating parent's got you on supervised visitation or a restraining order or very little access right now. What's their end goal? Because if they care about their kids, let's say they accuse you of being an alcoholic. Well, they would want you to go into rehab, get clean and sober, maybe attend AA meetings or whatever. Drug addict. If you have an anger problem, you go get some counseling, you fix that. So whatever the allegation is, there's some kind of cure or therapy out there, or the courts wouldn't have all these therapists. Now, it's all for a big show, but you can play along and say, Your Honor, why do you have all these therapists and psychologists and people if somebody can't get better? Obviously, the court has a goal to get somebody better, because if you're going to treat them and not fix them and they're going to stay the same and the visitation is the same, what are we even doing here besides making these people money? So any loving, caring parent would want a parent to get their act together with whatever their deficiencies or problems are. So I would ask a parent on the stand, or I would tell the court, like this lady that I was working with, she had a drug issue before and she's been clean and been jumped through all these hoops and she still hasn't seen her kid. The father's been withholding the child or the children. And so, she put in her paperwork, if you pose a question or ask the father at the hearing, what is your end goal for the children? What do you want? As far any parent would want the kids to have a good relationship with their parent, a healthy. Even people who are going through a marriage and, the husband is abusive or he's crazy or he's on drugs or he's out running the streets or whatever. Most spouses want them to be rescued from whatever their predicament or problem is. And they're hoping one day they'll get better, or they'll get right with God, or they'll get their act together, or they'll get some therapy or help or counseling or whatever. Most people have a hopeful end goal. So, all that being said, with all that context, you should pin them down. Okay, right now they want to push me out, block me, restrict me, have me on supervised visits. What's the end goal here? Everybody should be getting to that and getting that out of a parent. Or if you're just going at a temporary order hearing and you can't get them on the stand, you say, Your Honor, this person has no end goal. They want to eternally, that's what this lady said in her paperwork. This parent wants to eternally punish me for mistakes I made, or when I was young and dumb, or a weakness that I have and things I struggle with that I'm getting help for and getting better. It's like they think there's no redemption with human beings. They want to eternally punish me. They don't have an end goal to get things better. If they cared about the kids, they would hope and wish for an end goal, and they must be making me jump through these hoops for some reason, and they're obviously not. So since they don't have an end goal, then, I'm going to ask them this, or I'm going to tell the judge, Your Honor, if you pose the question to them, what's their end goal? What do they want in the best interest of the children in the end? If I resolve all of their issues, or if I cure all of their, you can use a phrase like, if I cure all of my alleged parenting deficiencies. Also, there's, I talk about making a finding of fact. It's automatically dangerous. it's automatically, the science is clear that children are in danger when they don't have relationships with both parents. They're in danger of cognitive functioning not developing, mental health problems, social anxiety, social development being stifled when they don't have bonds with both parents, because God made both parents to contribute something to a child's development. And when the dad's not in the home, there's the protection issue. So there's an automatic danger with this current court order that gives me every other weekend, less time, supervised visit. There's a danger right now that's scientifically proven. What's the greater danger of my presence that's greater than the automatic danger of my absence? When I'm gone, that's dangerous to the children. But you're saying you can't see them that much because you are what? Child molester, drug addict, you're going to harm them? Whatever. The court needs to make a finding of that greater danger. Now, in Washington State, the lady I was just talking about, she has a current temporary order. The dad tried to get, in our parenting plans, if you go to courts.wa.gov and look at a proposed parenting plan, it shows right at the beginning, here's the parenting problems: drugs, alcohol, child molestation, sexual abuse, physical abuse, domestic violence, drug addiction, withholding the child, abuse, use of conflict, mental problems, a lack of a bond with the kids. This lady, the dad, what's kind of cool in Washington is we have to do a proposed order of the final order that we want in the end. So we have a prediction of what they want in the end. And a lot of cowards will say, oh, that's reserved, we'll figure it out later. So you don't know what's best for your kid or what your end goal is, right? I would attack that. But in this case, this lady, she's being restrained from her kids with only supervised visits. She's jumped through all the hoops to get treatment and stuff, and she's participated in it. And all the boxes, the dad checked 8 boxes with things that are wrong with her. Mental illness, all this stuff, violent, neglectful, abusive, all this stuff. And the court put reserved by that, okay? Now, there's one box they checked about she has a drug issue, which she confessed to. She was in treatment in before, and she was dealing with it after they went to court. But the dad was a drug user too, and they should be pinning him down. So they're being biased against her because she didn't have an attorney. She couldn't afford one at first. She got railroaded at the first hearing. So she, after we consulted and talked, she attacked that and say, the court has not made a finding of fact of all these problems. The father said I had 8 problems, and the court didn't make a finding of fact of 7 out of 8. Yet I'm punished like I'm a felon who committed all those things. The children are automatically endangered. The science shows that children suffer without a mother. They haven't seen their mother in all this time, and the father isn't even following the supervised visits, which shows his bad faith and unclean hands. I'm giving you a bunch of freebies right now in this thing. He comes to court with bad faith, unclean hands, with ulterior motive. And he's not even following the court's order, and the court's order is supposed to be in the best interest of the child. Your Honor, this court ordered this. This is what's best for the kids, and he's not doing that. He's not working toward that. You would think that if he's a parent who loves the kids, he would say, I got to follow this court order because this is what they ruled is in the best interest of the child. But he's not even doing that. So this is a whole sham and a game. He's trying to alienate me. He's trying to abuse the system. He's trying to withhold the children. And he has no end goal in sight of, if you get this together, if you ask him right here on the spot, Your Honor, if she gets clean and sober and gets her act together, then what do you want? Ask him on the spot. Oh, I don't know. I need to wait to see what my lawyer says. So you need to wait to ask a total stranger lawyer what you should get with your kid before you answer what's best for your kid. Do you know your kids? Did you raise them? Are you the father? Are you the mother? They can't answer this. So I'm pinning them down saying, if I fix all your concerns, if I get anger management treatment and therapy and I get clean and sober for several months and I prove to you that I'm a better person, what do you want the children to have then? Do you want the children to have a healthy relationship with the other parent? They have to answer that question because everybody wants the kids to have a healthy relationship. Do you want that for your kids? They can't say no. If they say no, then they incriminate themselves. These are the basic fundamental questions that anybody with half a brain can figure out to ask somebody. But we don't think that hard because we're too busy being emotional and being triggered from the trauma of family court. I'd pin them down and make them answer that question instead of, we'll talk bad about them in court and they have no end goal in sight. Pin them down in court. Your day in court is your day in court to